So I was sitting at my desk and I'm preparing the script for the evening show, and then there's the news that, India is not participating in the 2025 Asia Cup. And of course, that's big news. It is a retaliation to the, whole conflict that we are having. There's been a series of events that were very tragic for, we lost so many people on our side during the Pahalgam attack and even after that. So, it made sense that, why keep ties there? But then by late evening, when I had prepared my script and everything, by late evening it says that actually, no.
BCCI has not spoken. Okay. Before I break down what happened, why there was this whole talk around India not participating in the Asia Cup and then BCCI quickly getting into a retraction mode. To answer your question about India not participating in the Asia Cup, we of course don't know till now whether Asia Cup happens, whether India participates. But what do we know right now? Let's get to now.
Yeah.
And what is the picture that has emerged? Since 2017, I did some research and I will get you the exact figure or exact year. Yes. Since May 2017, there has been a BCCI government approval that the BCCI had to take for participation in any tournament that involved Pakistan.
All right.
Okay. That meant a multilateral tournament like an Asian Championship or an ICC event. Mm-hmm. That has really not been removed. Which
this
means
has been happening since 2017.
2017, yes. From May 2017, it has been happening. Now, that's still in place. So, the government has not given BCCI the permission to go and play in Pakistan, which we saw did not happen during the Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
India did not travel to Pakistan, even though Pakistan were the hosts. Yes. So India's matches happened in Dubai.
So to reiterate, during the Champions Trophy 2025, PCB refused to accept any of India's requests at first. Indians as in the BCCI had cited that we will not be flying to Pakistan over security issues. So Pakistan offered a solution, which was, so they stay in Mohali, they stay in Chandigarh, and they fly over to play the matches in Pakistan, and then they return to India.
But that also was not accepted because of security issues. Exactly. To make things even more, to drive home the point that India or no Indians will travel to Pakistan.
Yes.
Even Rohit Sharma did not make it for the captain's meet.
For the captain's meet, yes.
Okay. Now, back to your question on Asia Cup. So, Asia Cup has been penciled into the calendar for September. We have a September window as of now, and that's the broadcaster's window. We know Sony has paid $170 million last year to the Asian Cricket Council. Of course, the money is to come in trenches for 8 years. So if the tournament doesn't happen, then Sony will renegotiate the deal. What are the chances of this not happening? The chances of this not happening is very high. If India pulls out, that means that their star team pull out of the tournament.
Asia Cup, India has to be the biggest.
Without India, then there will be four teams playing the Asia Cup. That really doesn't make much sense for the Asian Cricket Council to have a T20 tournament with only 4 teams calling it an Asia Cup.
Yes.
Okay. Now, BCCI got into the damage control mode yesterday while one of its members went into the parliament, went on record saying that India is not going to play Pakistan, which means that India is not playing Asia Cup. The secretary of BCCI said that no discussion has taken place within the members. So clearly what we understand is that all of BCCI has not spoken. Only these are elements from within the BCCI, one from the northeast, one from north, another from south. So member groups within the BCCI are coming out with, different sort of statements. But what we do know is that since 2017, BCCI has had to seek permission of Government of India to play Pakistan or to have any engagement with Pakistan, whether it be for a multilateral meet or an ICC tournament.
No, but just tell me something. How does one BCCI member go to the parliament and say this, and then another is just saying openly that there's no discussion taking place? So it's not possible to take these decisions unilaterally, is it?
It's not, but you see, BCCI again is a collection of state bodies. It's a collection of members who sit on the board, and while and they also have individual opinions. They also have their opinions on what should happen and what should not happen when it comes to Indian sport, and often it is seen that they give out their individual opinion to preferred journalists.
You must be one of them. For certain
Well, my lips are sealed when it comes to that. But yes, so there are preferred journalists when it comes to BCCI, a word that goes hand in hand with BCCI and Indian cricket team is leaks.
Yeah. Leaks all around.
Yes, you must have.
Every time you have to write a copy, it's like, according to very trusted sources, according to leaks generated by very trusted sources.
Yes.
At a cost.
Leaks. Well, who are the people? More often than not, these leaks come from the trusted sources. Leaks come from people who are in power, in position of power, and they do not want to be named. They do not want to be seen.
I have a very funny analogy for this. That way, BCCI is so similar to Bollywood.
Yeah.
They're also working on leaks, right? Like a leak would tell them what Karan Johar is thinking. A leak would tell them that actor is bad. And that same leak would praise this actor.
Exactly.
It's the same business, both places. Because now I spend a lot of my time on Reddit, and I'm not ashamed of that. So the kind of pages that I follow, so there's one, I'll not name that group, subreddit, so where we discuss a lot about Indian cricket-related leaks. And it's so obvious when a leak is planted there. Because it's a massive group, right? There's so many hundreds of thousands of people in that group. And it is very obvious when a leak is planted, and rather than just two fans discussing some piece of gossip they heard.
And often, on these social media platforms, I have seen fans generating, I would not say comments, but news even before the news has become news.
Yes. It's so
I would be
surprising.
gobsmacked, and I would often question myself, how did this person get to know? Because he or she is just a fan. Unless you are a part of that cricket verse where things are being discussed, the things are being debated.
Maybe sometimes they just predict.
It's mostly like that fake IPL blogger. Do you remember who came up during early days of IPL, and most of his
We should discuss early days of IPLs in one of these episodes in detail.
And most of his stuff was around KKR, and it's actually seemed that all of those things had happened in the KKR dressing room, whereas there was no. Later we got to know who was the fake IPL blogger. He was from the advertising industry, but unless someone from the dressing room, unless someone who was in the middle of all of that actually told him a whole gamut of things that happened behind the
then
scenes,
he could not.
The BTS wouldn't have been revealed.
Yeah, then he could not, But actually, we can always talk about the sports world gossip so much. But I'll come back to, again, the Asian Games and these confusing statements that are coming about. Let's put it in the context of a larger theme of India-Pakistan conflict, sports edition. Are there other times where, in times of conflict or in times of peace, there have been matches, there have been sports tournaments and other events that were either cancelled, delayed, and the impacts they had on the players, their economic impacts, and there's so much more I want to know from you. But let's begin with any other major cricketing tournament that was cancelled because of another political India-Pakistan conflict and not just sports related?
Yeah, so, India-Pakistan sporting ties have been affected time and again. 1952 was when India-Pakistan for the first time played cricket. And then when war happened, again, I did some research on when was the first time the interruption happened. It was between the years of 1962 and 1977 when the two wars happened. Two major wars, 65 and 71, there were no cricketing relations. 1999, when Kargil happened. Then again, 2008, when the terror attack happened in Mumbai. Cricketing relations came to a grinding halt. Now, but when you talk about cricketing relations coming to a halt between India and Pakistan, we also know when India and Pakistan played, the amount of interest, the amount of frenzy that it generated. 2019, I was covering the Cricket World Cup in Australia.
Lucky.
And, that was England Cricket World Cup. And for the India-Pakistan match, so ICC does a draw of lots. So you have to apply before you get the ticket.
Okay.
There were 800,000 applications for only the India-Pakistan game.
And I'm sure they had never seen something like that before. It's a small country.
It was a spectacle. Yeah. Now coming back to your question, 80s and 90s, most of India and Pakistan cricket, as we remember. I mean, I grew up in 80s and I have been an 80s and a 90s kid. So most of it was Sharjah. Sharjah and Toronto, these two were, kind of big centers for India and Pakistan. Fans would flock in there and we would watch India-Pakistan ad nauseum. We would be transfixed to our TV screens to watch India take on Pakistan. Though Sharjah meant it being Pakistan's backyard and most of the matches being won by, Pakistan. But come the days of Sachin Tendulkar and Desert Storm, we also remember that being a part of those Sharjah, folklore. Again, in 1999, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee led a peace mission. That year, there was India-Pakistan. There was a test series. And I remember one of the most beautiful memories of test cricket that I have was India-Pakistan playing in Inn Gardens and Shoaib Akhtar sending Sachin Tendulkar stumps cartwheeling. I was just sitting at a place where we could see the stumps cartwheel. And, as a child of that generation, there are memories about India-Pakistan cricket that remain etched in your memory.
My memory is not just a match-related memory. It's just... so in the late 90s and 90s, not every house had a TV set. Very few houses had even like the connection. They would get DD sometimes, so upar jaake taar hilana padta tha, the antenna ka. So that time. And you would know it's an India-Pakistan match day because the roads were so empty, it would feel like Section 144 has been applied there.
It would feel like a ghost town.
It would feel like a ghost town, and you can hear the faint voices from inside the houses if you're passing by a street because, इस पड़ोसी के घर पे टीवी नहीं है, उस पड़ोसी के घर पे नहीं है, पर तीसरे वाले के यहाँ है, तो उसके यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग एक साथ जमा हो गए, तो फेंट आवाजें बाहर तक आते रहेंगी. Apart from that, there's just no one on the road. So the India-Pakistan, and I remember like at my nani ghar, there would be at least 15-16 people in one room. Koi sofa pe baitha hai, someone is on the floor, and someone is someone's lap, and it's just like, and they're fighting so intensely, like you said.
It used to be like a festival day.
Yeah. And everyone is supporting India, of course, but we are still yelling against Pakistan cricket team and then appreciating them when they do something nice. The India-Pakistan memories for me is that because in my adulthood, India was not playing in Pakistan anymore.
Yeah.
So that is a part that I and many Indian cricketers have not experienced.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have visited Pakistan twice and seen cricket in Pakistan, one as a fan and one as a professional. And my father was a very big fan of the sport, and he pretty much, when I was very young, he pretty much took me along wherever he wanted to watch, whichever part of the world he wanted to watch sport, and particularly cricket. So with him, I traveled to Pakistan back in 1997. That was a 3-match series when, I mean, we went to Hyderabad, we went to Karachi, and we went to Lahore. But those days were very different, and particularly after the Kargil War, things had changed much. But you know, I saw a very, very different Pakistan. I read about a very, very different Pakistan and exchange when India traveled in 2003. The friendship series, when the relationship was once again revived, and you know, General Musharraf praising Mahendra Singh Dhoni. El Balaji became one of the hits of that series. Of course, Pakistan was in love with Irfan Pathan, and we were in love with Wasim Akram at that time. And later on, Shoaib Akhtar became, you know, a very big hero. We've always followed the two Ws, Wasim Wakar. So whenever India played Pakistan, it was always about India's batting versus Pakistan's bowling.
Bowling, yes.
Yeah, so
Rawalpindi Express.
That was the narrative.
For the longest time, I did not know Shoaib Akhtar's name. I just knew him as Rawalpindi Express.
By the way, I have to tell you the story about Shoaib Akhtar though. So once we were interviewing him, and this interview was happening in 2006 after he had been sent off home. Having failed a dope test.
Dope test, yes.
From Champions Trophy. And so I was just interviewing him, and then I asked him that, so, you know, how does it feel to be called Rawalpindi Express, the man who put Rawalpindi on the map? Shoaib Akhtar looks at me blankly. He says, Rawalpindi Express?
Oh!
I said, yes, Rawalpindi Express. He said, but Rawalpindi? I said, yes, Rawalpindi. He says, no, I don't know of any Rawalpindi. I said, what? Are you not from Rawalpindi? He says, no, I'm from Ireland. I said, okay. As a journalist,
I don't know how to react.
Yeah, as a journalist, when you don't know, when you know someone has just said, you know that someone is from a place, and he has literally put the place on the world map.
Yeah.
And then he suddenly says, oh no, I'm not from there, I'm from Ireland. For years, I didn't know why Shoaib Akhtar gave me that answer and shut me up. The answer actually lies in his autobiography. Why he said that he's from Ireland. He actually played league cricket in Ireland, and he picked up an accent. And he later on, he believed in his head that he was more like people from Ireland than people from Pakistan. Everything about him was more like people from Ireland than people from Pakistan. So he said, Rawalpindi? I do not know Rawalpindi.
That makes his television appearances make so much sense now, because the way he speaks.
And not like that. He said, I'm from Ireland with an Irish accent. So there you go, Shoaib Akhtar.
Shoaib Akhtar, Shoaib Akhtar.
Yeah.
No, because it makes sense. I mean, I should not be surprised, because the way he speaks in television appearances, he's been doing a lot of political commentary as well, like in the recent years. And I have the same laugh every time I hear him speak. I don't care if he's talking about serious issues, because he has that way about him. And I'm not demeaning him in any way, but he has that very, I can explain it to, you know, there's this concept that no matter what the situation, you can find a bhai tweet for it. Salman Khan tweet. Like, it is a gibberish mesh of words, and it makes sense in that moment when you reply to a situation. And whenever I hear Shoaib Akhtar on a panel or something like that, I just remember those mishmash of gibberish tweets. They're not saying anything, but they're very comforting. Because what? This is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. Yes. In your head, you keep going, what?
Yeah. But we have spoken a lot about cricket, but I want to know, do you remember any other instances? Because we were discussing something very serious, and that is what happens when we start talking about sports. We just go here and there.
We keep detouring. Yeah.
But do you remember any other major leagues which were not cricket that were impacted in the recent or in the later?
The continental championships of volleyball just got cancelled because of the India-Pakistan, because of the frayed India-Pakistan relations. It has happened just now. There are other tournaments. The chess has been impacted. So there are many other tournaments that have been impacted, and sports persons who wanted to travel across the border and play tournaments have not been granted visas. Shooting has been impacted. Also, the Neeraj Chopra.
I was just coming to that.
Neeraj Chopra Classic. That was to happen at the Kranti Rava Stadium on 25th of May. That is not taking place now because of the Pahalgaon attacks.
Yeah, and Neeraj and Nadeem are the best of friends.
He did send an invitation to Arshad Nadeem, but Nadeem had not had not said, he had not confirmed his participation on those dates. Yet, unfortunately, Neeraj got trolled for
which was terrible.
For having invited a person he calls his best friend, and we have seen that camaraderie, on the field.
I mean, his mother said, of course, this is before the Pahalgam incident, before any terror attacks had taken place. She had said that, both are my sons, when they were getting trolled a lot last year.
So Neeraj Chopra and Arshad Nadeem, I mean, though javelin is not a doubles event or anything like that, to me, as a sports fan, it also reminds me of Rohan Bopanna and Esam Al-Haq Qureshi. They were a doubles pair once upon a time, and they were such a successful doubles pair. But, unfortunately, now it's not the time anymore. Despite, Pakistan being so good in some of the events, an India-Pakistan Jodi, you will probably not see.
I hardly think so. Because you talk about Jodi, and I'm thinking about even, let's say, cricketers like Virat Kohli, one of the legend status cricketers that we have here today. And he's spent his entire career and he's never played in Pakistan, who are like the arch rivals of, the cricket
Virat
world.
Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah,
Never
all
played
of
in
them,
Pakistan.
the biggest stars of the generation. They ended, I mean, Jasprit, of course, is still playing. Kohli and Sharma ended their test career without having played test match in Pakistan.
So I hardly believe that any Jodi is possible in the coming years as well, when that is
and
the
some
case.
of their, again, star players like Babar Azam and all, this, that generation, Shaheen Afridi, Babar Azam, we haven't seen them, perform on Indian soil, and hence we really don't know how it would have been. I'm talking about Test cricket here. They've played. I think Babar. I can't quite recall, but I think Babar Azam did come to India. Yeah, they did come to India. They did come to India for the World Cup. Yes, of course.
So with all this conversation, with all these memories and the gossip and all of the other side, in India, Pakistan, BCCI taking decisions, all of that is there. But we have another cricketing body which kind of oversees all the cricketing bodies of the world.
The ICC.
ICC, and they make schedules for the rest of the world as well. So given the situation we have right now, what are we thinking? Like, is there any chance that there might be a tournament where India and Pakistan would participate together in the near future? And what is the ICC schedule like for the coming days?
देखो, Anwiti, क्योंकि तुमने ICC के बात की, तो the first ICC tournament that we are going to face now is the women's ODI World Cup. It is going to happen in September, October this year. It starts from 29th of September.
Yes.
India, of course, is expected to play Pakistan, but again, matters lie in the hands of the Indian government, whether they will allow a Pakistani team to come here or not. It's the women's team. The men's, so far as the men's engagement goes, it's in February, March 2026 next year, which is the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
Again, we'll have to wait and see whether, how the situations are at that point, whether India can play Pakistan or not. I really don't know what happens in the near future, but as the sentiment goes right now, emotions are running very high, that no one wants to engage with Pakistan at any level.
Right.
So having said that, if Pakistan doesn't play, schedules get impacted because this is not a bilateral. These are multilateral tournament.
Yeah.
If they are a qualified team for the World Cup and they don't play, schedule gets affected. Also, most importantly, revenues get impacted.
Money.
If that India-Pakistan match is not going to be there, starting with the Asia Cup to the many tournaments that we are talking about, where is the money going to come from in cricket? And who's going to compensate? I don't think there's anyone who's going to compensate. So who's going to be at loss at the end? It's going to be Pakistan. I mean, India, of course, has loads and loads of money.
I mean, BCCI is the richest cricket board in the world.
So I don't think they will feel the pinch instantly.
Yeah.
But the other words like Pakistan
PCB
will suffer.
Definitely.
PCB will suffer.
I mean, PCB was even during, sorry to interrupt, but like even during the Champions Trophy 2025, there were so many reports of this internal conflict between, inside PCB because they had failed to break even the profits in so many places because, India-Pakistan matches were not being held there. They were all in Dubai. And PCB apparently spent you might know better than I do because I only just covered it very briefly in a news segment, that the amount of money they had supposed to spend on stadium renovation did not meet up to the quality. Yeah. And of course, because of the, loss of matches, again, some revenue loss there. So PCB has a lot to lose here.
Exactly.
Way more than India.
PCB has a lot to lose. The Bangladesh Cricket Board, Sri Lanka Cricket Board, talk about the other countries like Nepal and Afghanistan who really, depend on the revenue coming from these sort of tournaments, will also have to absorb a considerable amount of loss.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
So a lot of ifs and buts and would-bes and could-bes here. But what we know as of now, it is most likely, or would you say unlikely, that the news we were running, on Monday, that India is not participating. India is pulling out of the, Asia Cup 2025. Let's end it there. What do you think? Is it most likely that they are pulling out or is it just rumors?
I think 90% they are not going.
They're not going?
90% chances of India not playing and 90% chances of the tournament altogether getting scrapped.
Okay, both 90%. Okay, so what I'll do is you'll be on your desk and as soon as the news is announced, either you give me $100 and I'll give you $100. I can't afford more than that.
Done.
I can't afford more than that.
Or a cup of tea?
Coffee also, yeah.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Coffee for you, tea for me.
Yes, done.
Yeah.
So let's end this here and then we'll go back to the gossip that we can't share online.
Absolutely.
Because I've read some.
Okay, I'm waiting to know, I'm waiting to learn. Thank you very much, Anwiti.
Thank you very much for being with us.